Good evening and welcome to the August 24th, 2023 regular meeting of the San Diego Community Power Board of Directors. I'm Joe LaCava, Chair of the Board and the representative for the City of San Diego. Welcome to the members of the public, the Community Power staff I see in abundance tonight, and board members joining us in person today. And I will call the August 24th, 2023 regular meeting of the board to order. Kimberly, will you please call the roll?
City of San Diego representative,
LaCava present.
County of San Diego representative, Imperial Beach representative, La Mesa representative,
Aaron, present.
National City representative,
Ani present.
Chula Vista representative,
McCann, present.
Encinitas representative, Kinsey here. We have a quorum.
All right, thank you, Kimberly. And please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Stand if you're able and face the flag, your hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of
the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As Kimberly mentioned, we do have a quorum, and we'll start out with special presentations and introductions. And first, land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that this meeting is taking place on the land of the original habitats of the greater San Diego region. A land acknowledgement is a critical step towards working with Native communities to create meaningful partnerships and inclusion in the stewardship and protection of their cultural resources and homelands. Let's take a moment to honor these ancestral grounds that were the traditional lands of the Kumeyaay. And with that, we'll now take an opportunity to meet several new members of the San Diego Community Power team. And we'll call them up one by one. We have a new HR coordinator, Bria Betts. Want to say a few words?
Hello, my name is Bria Betts. I am excited to join San Diego Community Power as a human resource coordinator. I have my background in recruitment and talent acquisition, and I'm excited to take San Diego Community Power to the next level by achieving top tier talent for them. I graduated from California State University at Fullerton with my background in human communication studies, and I'm excited to be here.
Welcome aboard. Next, Julissa Mercedes.
Good evening, board. My name is Julissa Mercedes, and I am a financial analyst for San Diego Community Power. And I previously was a staff accountant for Cetera Financial Group, and I moved to San Diego a year ago from Pennsylvania, and I'm happy to join and looking forward to working with everybody.
Fantastic. Are you an Eagles fan?
No.
Sorry, Brian.
Even better.
Better. Next up, Allison Smith.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Allison Smith. I recently joined San Diego Community Power as a digital media coordinator. I'm a recent graduate from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, where I majored in journalism with a concentration in public relations and a minor in law. And I worked for the campus's Innovation and Entrepreneurship Center. I'm originally from Santa Clarita, California, made the move to San Diego about a month ago, and I'm very excited to be here.
Fantastic. And then Kevin Bateman.
Good evening, Chair LaCava and Board of Directors. My name is Kevin Bateman, and I recently joined San Diego Community Power as a financial analyst. I am actually a San Diego native, so I've been I'm from Chula Vista, and so I've kind of moved around a little bit and attended San Diego State.
Go Chula Vista.
And
Go San Diego State.
So I'm just really excited to be here and be able to contribute in a way that is just different, just being able to contribute to this company and just to the greater community of San Diego.
Fantastic. Congratulations, y'all. It's a great organization to work with. So we're fortunate to have you. So thank you. With that, are there any items to be added, withdrawn, or reordered on the agenda?
There are not.
Right. So next up, we'll take up non-agenda public comment. Want to note that written public comments submitted before the board meeting were emailed to all directors prior to the board meeting and will be posted on the website at the beginning of the meeting. Kimberly, do we have any non-agenda public comment?
No, we do not.
All right. And I don't believe any were sent, any
No.
written comments.
No, we did
Okay.
not receive any.
All right. So moving right along, we'll move on to the consent calendar. On pretty short one for the month of August. We have approval of the July 27th meeting minutes, approval of the member agency grant program policy. For those of you with good memories, this was actually on last month's consent agenda, but there was a little problem with proper noticing. So here on the side of caution, we wanted to repost it. And we also have a contract amendment for a agreement with Financial Credit Network for debt collection for residential customers. And last but not least, in another amendment for a professional services agreement with Tenaska Power Services Company. There any to be pulled off the consent agenda?
Through the chair,
Yes,
pulling number 4, please.
pull number 4, okay.
Just,
Or do you just have a question?
yes, no question. I just wanted to, and them to give me more information about what's Tenaska Power Services.
Okay. All right, we'll take that up separately. Do we have any public comment on the?
No, we do not.
Okay. I will note that the Mayor Paula Very has joined the board meeting. With that, are there any other board comments on items 1 through 3 or a motion to approve the consent items?
I'll move.
I'll second.
Parent, second. Okay, we have a motion to move the consent calendar items 1 through 3. All in favor, raise your hand. That passes unanimously. So with that, we will now go to item number 4, which was pulled by a board member. Can you speak to that, Mr. Boston? You want to ask a specific question?
Give me an introduction.
Sure, happy to speak to it. I'm Managing Director of Power Services. Can you hear me okay? No?
No.
Green light's on, is that better?
You just got to speak loud.
Okay, fine.
That outdoor voice of yours.
Most people encourage me not to. Yes, the item number 4 is an amendment to our scheduling coordinator services group, Tenaska Power Services. They've been a consultant with us since 2020 and have been involved in load forecasting and scheduling services that apply to us. They're a very, very active participant in the market and providing service to other CCAs as well. So we've been working with them for quite a while. As we are now contracting for additional resource to bring into our portfolio that we'll need to dispatch and optimize. They have additional services that they can provide to do that. So this is an amendment as we bring storage assets into our portfolio to work with them to do that for us.
Thank you. That's what I wanted to hear. Additional storage, Mr. Chairman.
Okay,
Thank you.
very good.
So moved.
All right, Member Yamani, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor of moving item 4, raise your hand. That passes 5-0. Okay, now moving on to the regular agenda, item 5. It's the 2022 Power Source Disclosure Program Annual Reports and Power Content Label. And Mr. Vosberg, I think this is yours as well.
I'll stay here. No, I don't know if we planned that, but if we did, sure. Evening. I'm see. Item 5 here is our power source disclosure and power content label. This is an annual process that we go through. Next slide, please. Review and to certify the power that we delivered to our customers in the previous year. So this is required by California Public Utilities Code. We file both to the CEC, California Energy Commission, and then send a mailer to all our customers with this content, this information. And some people say, I think Laura Fernandez, Director of Regulatory, says this is our nutrition facts for our energy for the prior year. I think it's a really nice way of breaking it down. There's a lot that goes into our portfolio. This is a way that makes it clear and shows to our customers what we purchase. So next slide, please. You can see here, this is for 2022, our power content label as certified. Again, there's a long kind of audit process. We're in August of 2023 now, closing out the year for 2022. And we just got the template from the CEC the last week or two. So this is really as soon as we can do this. But again, it needs to be mailed to customers by October 1st. So we're right in that window, and that's maybe one of the reasons why we have a board meeting tonight as well to get this done. So we've gone through a thorough process here to review this with us and Pacific Energy Advisors consultants, and everything checks out as expected coming into the year and upon review. So the high level summary, I know it's kind of an eye chart, and I'll apologize for that. But the high level summary is the Power 100, our 100% renewable product was in fact 100% renewable. It was a split of 50% wind and 50% solar. And our Power On product was 54% renewable. You can see the breakdown there as well, largely wind and solar, again, with small percentages of biomass, geothermal, and some renewable hydroelectric. And then in addition to that, another 12%, almost 13% of large hydro as well, which is not considered renewable, but is carbon free. And so when you loop that in with our renewable percentage, we're 67% renewable or carbon free, resulting in an overall carbon intensity of 375 pounds per megawatt hour of CO2 equivalent, which is well below total average emissions there. So that's the overall summary. I'm happy to take any questions you have, or if not, happy to take questions, or the recommendation, I guess, would be for you all to certify and send us on our way to file this and submit the mailer to the customers. On that note, the draft mailer is here on the next two slides as well, just to show you what that power consumption will look like. I will take no credit for all the great visuals here. That's again, Lucas Uto, and then I think and data team, and then Jill on the public affairs team as well. Done a lot of work in that creation and distribution.
Great, thank you, Byron. Kimberly, do we have any public comment?
No, we do not.
All right, Mayor McCann, make sure you yell, because I'll forget that you're up there on the screen. So, but certainly turn it over to the board members for comments and a motion.
Just make a small comment, if I may. And it's that it's always a little painful for me and Encinitas to see that our opt-out rates are higher than elsewhere, but it's because we're Power 100, and so it's great to see that our portfolio is 50-50 between both sources of renewables. And I know this is a little bit of a perfunctory thing that we have to do, sending this mailer out to everybody, but I'm proud of it, and I think it'll just reiterate again the fact that we're using clean energy. So thank you.
Want to make that a motion as well?
I sure will. I will move approval of this item.
I'll second.
Very second. I think I just had one quick question. I noticed they have a separate line item for the unbundled renewable energy credits.
Correct.
How would that fit into the chart above that, if there was some?
That's a great question. If we can, Kimberly or Sandra, whoever is on the slide, if we can go back to the power content level of another slide or two. And Chair, we may need to get back to you on this as well to confirm, but my understanding, and previously, if there were to unbundled RECs, they would be included in the renewable percentage. But sorry, it's different in the power source disclosure. It's noted on the bottom that there are unbundled RECs.
Okay.
It flags what the percentage on unbundled RECs. We did not have any portfolio for 2022.
I know we don't have here. I think somebody else in town.
We don't. Some other utilities nearby may.
Well, like you said, as Member Kinsey said, about 67% carbon free. I think it's pretty impressive, and certainly on our way to our long-term goals. So great work. What you're doing. Okay, so we do have a motion by Member Hinsey, a second by Member Gary to move the staff recommendations. All in favor, raise your hand. And that passes unanimously.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Byron. With that, we'll go on to item number 6. Approval of the resource adequacy agreement with EnerSmart Chula Vista BESS. Oh, this is not going to be Byron. This is my notes, but
Surprise.
please move forward.
Good evening. Thank you, Chair LaCava and board. Good to see you guys all again and chat. So today I'm going to bring to you first of hopefully a few contracts with the local developer that we've been working on for a few months. This is the EnerSmart Chula Vista BESS project. Next slide, please.
So as you guys should be well aware, SDCP has a goal of 600 megawatts of local capacity by 2035. So we're actively looking, procuring to meet those goals. EnerSmart is a local developer that has a number of projects within San Diego County that we're looking at. In total, they're kind of spread out on the map you can see here. In total, the total capacity for all those projects is a little over 160 megawatts. This is the first of those projects that we're taking to the board and the first that we engaged in contract negotiations with. Next slide, please. So a little more details on this project. So again, it's in Chula Vista. You can see a little zoom in there, kind of depiction of on the map where this is. This project was submitted under our local RFI, which is a rolling solicitation for any local projects in San Diego County or Imperial County. It is a 6 megawatt, 2-hour battery storage project that allows us to count 3 megawatts of that for our RA obligations, specifically for our local RA. The project has done its groundbreaking. It has achieved commercial operations as of August. You can see some of the ribbon cutting pictures there. Next slide, please. Some detail on the project. So again, we have both general renewable adequacy, resource adequacy, compliance obligations we have to hit, as well as local. So this project being in San Diego will help us meet our local resource adequacy requirements. We have negotiated and agreed on a 10-year fixed term for this, which helps provide certainty for us for our repairs, and also importantly allows us to count any of the RA from this for our compliance obligations related to midterm reliability. We have a guaranteed delivery date of March of next year, and there are some provisions in the contract where if that's not met, we can adjust the contract pricing. Again, it helps with our local procurement targets, as well as we have provided adequate protections in the contract should they failure to meet delivery obligations or timelines. Next slide, please. So related to, with all these projects, we do an evaluation of the workforce development community benefits. So for these projects, this one in particular, because we got into contract negotiations with the developer after the project was already constructed. So again, it just hit its commercial operation date, but we weren't engaged with them in the development and prior to construction. So we didn't get to have a lot of say in construction of the project, but it does employ local labor, EnerSmart as a company, and we've talked to them about that for the other projects that are coming on board in San Diego County. They did use labor for the electrical portion on this project. It's nice to have these local projects because they provide clean energy to the grid, and locally it doesn't require a lot of transmission. There's a special provision that they get to use for local distributed transmission, as well as interconnection to allow deliverability. And so we're trying to take advantage of that, and this is going to be one of the first projects in San Diego County that can take advantage of that and try to provide that benefit. So we did analysis of this. Again, it helps us meet our 2035 targets. Commercial operations already set, and we expect them to have deliverability early 2024. So we can count that for the 2024 midterm reliability compliance obligations. The pricing is competitive with what we've seen. We also just did a recent large standalone storage RFO for projects out that could be anywhere, not just in San Diego or Imperial. And this is priced very competitively with all those as well. And again, I want to emphasize this is a local developer, local facility, and really will help us engage with them on the rest of the portfolio. So the staff's recommendation would be to approve and let us move forward with finalizing the contract.
Great, thank you for the presentation. Kimberly, is there any public comment?
No, there's no public comments.
All right, I'll turn it over to the board for any questions, comments. We do need a motion on this one.
I would be happy to make the motion.
Oh, thank you, Mayor.
I'll second that, Mr. Chairman.
And member Yolani. Any other comments? Without any, all in favor, raise your hand. And that passes unanimously. So thank you for the good work. Always good whenever we get some of the resource adequacy added to the portfolio. So. Now moving on to item 7. This is an information item only. And I'll provide some opening comments. I'm going to spare you. I didn't do a PowerPoint for this. Hopefully you've had a chance to read the memo, which covered a lot of good ground. Bringing this back in front of the board, this was briefly discussed about a year ago. And of course, there was only two of us that were around that time. So we thought with the new board member, it was worth as an introduction to this question before bringing it for potential action in September. As the memo indicated, one of the responsibilities of the board is to hire the general counsel. But otherwise, it's silent in terms of whether to go with a outside counsel as we do now, or with an in-house counsel. Of course, when this organization was first starting up and there was just a few people on board, they outsourced it, which certainly made a lot of sense at that time, as they were rapidly trying to take on this amazing new responsibility, which they certainly did very well. But now we're over $1 billion. We've got 1 million counts. We're at a different stage in the life cycle of this organization. So it's certainly a good time. I think good practice is after about 4 years to relook at this conversation. You will note that the memo talks about the advantages of the two different ways to handle this, to continue outsourcing legal counsel, or whether to actually retain and hire an employee as an in-house general counsel. I believe some of you were briefed during the board briefings by our CEO, but wanted to get some sense of the board, whether there's particular preference, what kind of direction we would want to give to staff about what they would bring forward to us, perhaps in our September meeting for an action item. The options we have is to, I think one of the things that was important to me is to say, even if we had an in-house counsel, which gives a more intimate conversation, I think some of you cities may actually have a in-house legal counsel. I know the county has in-house legal counsel as an employee. The city actually, it's a political office, gets elected. And whether we continue with the external counsel that we've been doing for the past 4 years. If we want to do external, we probably would go back to an RFP. The organization's changed quite a bit in terms of the skills we need going forward. And to give you a flavor from the sense that I have gotten, I think the idea of moving to an in-house counsel, recognizing we will still outsource some. One person is not going to have all the skill sets that a major organization like ours is going to need. But there is, I think, enough advantages from what I've seen. But I open up to the board if there's any sense of concerns, preferences, what we would be asking staff to bring to the board for an action item next month. Mayor?
Thank you, Chair. I think it would be, I think the timing's right for us to look at in-house counsel. I know that some of our fellow agencies up in North area have in-house counsel. I think that's pretty standard. I think that, would bring benefits for our agency as we're continuing to grow. I think that we could have a lot of benefit from having that in-house.
Thank you. Member Hensy.
I'll just add my support as well. Something that resonated from your report was the acknowledgement that with outside counsel, we might always hear, no, that's too risky. But with in-house counsel, we might have somebody who's really in touch with the organization and can give us some more insight of weighing the risks and benefits of different decisions that we'll be faced with in the coming years.
Okay. Member Yamai.
Through the chair, I apologize. I was so busy taking care of myself that I haven't read your report, but if you would allow me or allow us to get more data input, to have a better understanding and to have a more intelligent recommendation, next month, I would appreciate it, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, we certainly would consider the board's comments and then bring in actually an action item September, see if we're ready to make a decision at that time.
But Mr. Chairman, it's for us, like a local, municipality, we do have an in-house counsel, and we do, have outside counsel for other skills that our in-house needed help. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Certainly, we would be looking to somebody who would bring that Brown Act experience. That's probably the biggest thing the board needs. As I mentioned, and I think a couple of you mentioned, we would still outsource a number of the very specialized things that don't happen every day, but they're very unique in terms of the needs of what the organization really requires. I think I'm getting a sense, I don't know if Member Parent or Mayor McCann, if you had anything to add on this.
Yeah, I'm supportive of pursuing in-house counsel, and I think I am an in-house counsel, so I think maybe that's a bias. But I do think I think one thing that I want to make sure that we contemplate going forward with this is that we we do something like that. If we are going to do something in-house, we should make sure that we plan for, and maybe this is incorporated in the memo that or whatever is recommended for the next meeting. We plan for periodic reviews of that council, because I think as people I think know, the board has, we have 2 employees that we oversee, the executive director and the general counsel, and I know in my city in La Mesa, we have some like protocols for reviewing our city manager, and we never got around to doing that for our city attorney, and so I want to make sure that we contemplate that if we do decide to move forward with hiring in-house counsel, that we create adequate structures for review and oversight.
Well said, sir. Well, I'm going to go a little further, since there seems to be a general thing. I'm going to ask for a couple of volunteers. Since it's our responsibility to hire, we would certainly want a couple of board members to participate in the recruitment of the general counsel. Maybe conduct some early interviews before it comes to the full board for recommendations. So think about that and let me know separately if you would be interested in doing that. That would be helpful to you, right, Jess?
Yes.
Okay.
Through the chair, not that we don't love our council right now, right?
Oh, yeah, no, this is, I'm very carefully structured. This is BBK has served us very well. Ryan has served us very well over the past 4 years. And even if the board was interested in outside, it would probably be time for us to, relook at the landscape out there, just good business practice out there. So, and this is not going to happen overnight. So we'll be looking to work with BBK for the next several months to make sure that we have sufficient recruitment period. We get a person that really fits the organization and the values and the culture that our CEO has built in the organization, make sure it's a good fit. So, okay, that certainly gives me enough direction, I think, as well. So, okay, well, thank you for that. I appreciate you letting us entertain kind of just an informational item. Look for something to come in September. With that, we'll now go on to some reports. Does our CEO have a report? Oh, did I not take public comment on this item?
No, but there is none.
Okay, sorry. It says right here, take public comment.
Hey.
Thank you for that reminder.
All right. Good evening, Chair LaCava, and good evening, board members. Next slide, please. So we just have a couple of updates. We are hiring. I am really glad you had the opportunity to meet 4 of our new team members tonight. In a couple of weeks, we have 2 public outreach coordinators joining, Adana Martinez and Jushan Jameson on September 6th. And so you'll get to meet them during the September board meeting. That sounds much better. And so we are in the process of hiring quite a few folks: Director of Data Analytics and IT, a Senior Rates and Strategy Analyst, Local Government Affairs Manager, Risk Manager, Program Managers, Procurement Managers, and Account Services Analysts. So we are in full amount hiring phase, all of which was in our budget. And so we are executing on that right now. Next slide, please. Earlier this month, the SCCP team was in Chula Vista for the Lemon Festival and had a really great time at this annual celebration.
I'm sure Mayor McCann, as you know, Chula Vista was once known as the lemon capital of the world. And although the lemon groves are no more, many of the homes still have lemon trees in their backyards. So this was a fantastic festival with over 25,000 attendees. And we want to give a special thanks out to our CAC members, David Harris, Carolyn Schofield, and Larry Emerson, for volunteering alongside us at this festival. We appreciate you, so thank you. All right, last slide I have is last week, Laura, Jed, and I traveled to the Sacramento with the San Diego Chamber of Commerce for the Sacramento trip. During our time, we connected with a lot of our legislative delegation, including Senator Steve Padilla, Assemblymember Chris Ford, Assemblymember David Alvarez, Assemblymember Tasha Borner, Catherine Blakespear. We were also able to hear from Senator Pro Tem Tony Atkins regarding the remaining priorities for the legislative year. We also connected with a lot of other leaders from San Diego, from MAC, the Port of San Diego, Scripps Institute of Oceanography, the SD Workforce Partnership, Otay Mesa Water District, Industrial Environmental Association, and many more. So we're excited to begin those conversations and continue to build our regional partnerships here in San Diego. Thank you.
Great, thank you. General Counsel, do you have any comments?
There is no major movements in the law to report.
Okay. Thank you. Director comments, anything for the good of the organization, anything about your individual cities? I'm kind of confused about Lemon Grove and City of Chula Vista being the capital of lemon, but we'll talk about that later. So. Seeing none. So, okay, good. I wanted to at least get us past 5:30 to make it worth our time. That brings us to the end of our regular agenda. I appreciate everyone's participation today. We are adjourned until the next regular meeting of the Board of Directors of San Diego Community Power on September 28th, 2023. We are adjourned.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.